Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Buds and Blue Jays. I'm your host, Jesse Burrell, and I am joined as always by my co-host, Riley McConnell. Riley, what's up?
Not much, taking 20 minutes or so away from my time watching our boys in blue play right now against the Twins. Not looking so hot, but still having a good Sunday, Jesse. I don't know about you. And who's this handsome dude? I mean, who's this guy?
Yeah, not only that, we are also joined by the host of the Have You Considered podcast, the host of the Leafs and Lad podcast, and the only other person I know who can throw a wicked sidearm slider just like Adam Simber, my friend, Isaac Bass. Isaac, welcome to the show.
I will say that slider, now the only time I ever pitched an actual baseball game, I pitched 2 innings. The first inning, I actually did really well, struck out a few people. And then I remember hearing one guy and he said, all he can throw is a slider. And then it just all broke down from there. But the arm angle got him at first. I just couldn't hold it together for more than one outing like Adam Simber can.
There you go. Well, I guess the big league career died young, but it's good to have you on the show here. Today on the show, we're going to go all things Blue Jays that happened in that series against the Minnesota Twins. We've got our thumbs up. We've got our thumbs down. We're going to talk about the Ryan Borucki trade. We'll preview the series against the Kansas City Royals. But first, guys, big news. We are now on Spotify. So good stuff. If you wanted to listen to the show, but you can't open YouTube because you're on the road, now you can. So I suggest going to Spotify. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating, like and subscribe, hit those downloads. We're blowing up, baby. We're going to be everywhere before you know it.
You can watch us. Now you can just plain old listen to us. Love it, man. We're branching out. We're starting it big. I mean, having a lot of fun doing this. It's been one heck of a season so far, and hope we get more viewers and listeners on Spotify.
Yeah, it would be great to have. Well, all good things had to come to an end, unfortunately, as the Jays, they lost game 1 of the series. They won game 2 of the series, and they're currently losing 6-3 in the bottom of the 7th right now. We'll give you any updates in this game if something does happen. Matt Chapman just went deep, so that was good to see, but Jays still have some work to do against the Minnesota Twins to salvage a win. Game 1, the Jays lost that one 9-3. Jays and Twins battled early. It was 4-3 Minnesota after 3, but Jays only got 1 hit after the second inning. Minnesota clubbed 5 home runs, and the Jays' 8-game win streak comes to an end. Game 2, Jays won 12-3. I was in attendance at this game, so that was a fun one to be at. Jays did everything right. Jose Berríos, 7 innings pitched, career-high 13 strikeouts against his old team. Jays muster 16 hits, including home runs by Vlad, Bo, and Kirk. And game 3, like we said, is currently happening, 6-3 so far in the 7th. Matt Chapman has a home run in this one. George Springer has a home run in this one. And Kevin Gausman ran into some trouble early, but it looks like the bullpen has kind of stabled things down. So let's hope the Jays can mount a comeback from this one. Boys, without further ado, thumbs up, thumbs down. You ready to rock?
Ready.
Let's go. Isaac, I think we're going to throw the first one to you because you're our guest here on the show. Thumbs up. What are you giving it to?
All right. So my thumbs up is not as much of a series as just because it's first time on the show. I wanted to give like an all-encompassing kind of year up thumbs up to a guy that I've fallen in love with. And you guys talked about at the start of the year as like a surprise guy that came out of nowhere, Santiago Espinal.
Yeah.
It seems, now I don't know if you guys know the stats off the top of your head, but it seems like he has the best on base batting average of any J with runners in scoring position. Now it may just be the games I've watched. He's done really well in that position, but it just seems like whenever he's at the plate, something good happens, you know, and he's got speed that he can still leg out ground balls. He's great defensively, does an awesome job, and all that talk about like, what are we going to do at second base before the start of the season? It seems like he's answered all of those problems at a very cost-effective rate, which being a Leaf fan, cost effectiveness is something that we are lacking a little bit. So it's nice to see the Jays have, and especially with guys like Bichette and Guerrero coming up. He's my top performer. I know I think he only had 2 hits this series. Everyone had 2 hits last night, but he's my thumbs up for sure.
Love that one, Bassy. That's a very original one because it's so true, man. One of those unsung guys. And you know what, man? He's on his way to an all-star game appearance this year, the way he's been playing. And you hit the nail on the head, something we've struggled at, hitting with runners in scoring position. And, well, there's Espinal driving guys in. And
Simeon's numbers are, I think we probably still would rather Marcus Semien because I don't think that's going to last. But, that's a hell of a good replacement.
No, absolutely. And we talked about on a few episodes there that Santiago Espinal was actually leading all American League second basemen in WAR at that point to the season, with only hitting 2 or 3 home runs at that point. So there is a real chance we're going to do an all-star episode as we get closer to the all-star game itself, but there's a real chance Santiago Espinal finds himself on that roster, which is amazing from the prospect that he was and the player he was even last year. So a great turnaround from Santiago Espinal. Love that one. Riley, let's move on to your thumbs up, a guy we just have to talk about after his last performance.
Yeah, well, you were there, Jesse, and I'll steal this one from you. And it was a well-deserved and a well-earned game, man, for Jose BERRIOS, dude.
Absolutely.
Career high 13 Ks. And I was watching on some of the, the stat trackers and the pitch overlay between his slider and that nasty two-seamer. It looked great, man. Like, he actually looked like he's in mid-season form. And, well, it being kind of mid-season now, Jesse, it's good to see. Because a guy we signed for the term and the dough with the contract, like, yeah, let's see a little bit more of that. I felt great about it, man. I'm sure that the Rogers Center was just electric yesterday, and people were really rooting for him because he is someone who is going to be one of the reasons we make or break the a playoff spot, and we need to see more of that, man, for sure.
Yeah, what a bounce back after his last start in Anaheim where he really struggled and he got hit so hard. Like, he gave up the home run in the first inning and we're thinking, shit, like, here we go again. This is going to happen. BERRIOS is giving up more hard contact, but then he just locked it in. I think the main difference too was he was finally locating that off-speed pitch, that curveball, down and away to right-handed hitters, and he was throwing it consistently for strikes too, which is big. And not only that, he was able to get the swings and misses that we weren't seeing from Jose BERRIOS this season. So, and plus, I think it was a little in his head. He had mentioned before the season, he was kind of upset about leaving Minnesota. He didn't really want to, but he knew he wasn't going to get his money. So I think there was something, a little motivation, and maybe that's what we needed to get Jose BERRIOS going forward this season.
Jesse, I'm going to interject on you for a second because I'm going to call us both out and share our text conversation we had yesterday while you're at the game. All right. At 12:12, so your guys' time, 3:12, I said, man, what the fuck is wrong with BERRIOS? And you said 7 more years of this, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And then you did say, as you talked about in previous episodes, individual pitches still seem similar. When he's getting hit, throwing right down the middle. But then I said the curve looks really nice today. Yep. And you said the best pitch in baseball. And from when you said that, Jose BERRIOS threw 13 Ks and had a great outing. But I will say, at first, and like all of Jay's Twitter, I don't know how well you guys follow Jay's Twitter. Everyone was just shitting on the guy.
Oh yeah, no, hey man, the Rogers Center, I thought that there was going to be an angry mob on opening day, man. Honest and truthfully, dude, it was not a good scene, and I felt bad for him. But you know what? Hey man, Bassy, that was the start that he needed. 13 strikeouts, dude, over 7. So you know what? That's not even a full complete game. Double-digit strikeouts. Still, that's awesome, man.
Just really quick, guys, before we move on to our next player here. Fangraphs has a stat called Game Score, where they take each individual's pitcher's performance and base it like a numbers based on quality of contact, strikeouts, and think. This was by far Jose BERRIOS' best one of the season. They gave him a score of 71. Do you know where it would rank on the Jays starting pitcher's game score so far this season? If you just had to take a guess, stab in the dark.
7th.
I'd say around there. Maybe 5th.
Okay, so Isaac nailed it. It was 7th. It was the 7th best individual start. Yusei Kikuchi had one better against his old team, the Seattle Mariners, where he only gave that one hit through 6 innings. The Blue Jays' best start in terms of game score was Alek Manoah on April 29th against Boston. And then Gausman's up there with 3 of them. Manoah's up there with 2 of them. And then BERRIOS slides in right there at number 7. So hopefully we see more of this going forward from Jose BERRIOS. My thumbs up I wanted to give one to is the catcher himself, Alejandro Kirk. He's got on base 5 times this series. He had a home run in game 2. He had a home run in game 3. And just for good measure, Kirk is now hitting 307, 386, 453. And that was coming into the game today. So before he even hit another home run. And here's where Alejandro Kirk ranks in the majors in terms of batting for catchers in many offensive categories. His home runs, he now has 5, which is top 10. He's leading catchers in batting average with a 307. Second in on-base percentage, second in WOBA, second in weighted runs created plus. He's 4th best walk rate at 12% and is the best in strikeout percentage at 8.9%. Alejandro Kirk is making a real case that he's going to be an all-star this season, which was wild after the first month of the year. He only had 1 ball where he pulled for an extra base hit all season. The turnaround Alejandro Kirk has had is just incredible, and I can't wait to see more of him coming up this season.
He's going to do a lot more of it, man. Like, straight up, Alejandro Kirk is one of the best hitting prospects we had coming up through in the last couple of years. Now he's here. We know that his defense is probably considered to be average, if not below average at some point. I see that his frame rate is becoming a bit better as even the starts go on for him. So that's really good to see. As far as his bat goes, I didn't mind the start of the year to see him slap balls the other way and things like that, because he was still putting up a pretty high, on base and average at some points. But now that he's turning the power on, it's starting to look like more what he can do. Especially you add the Jansen equation in there for both our catchers. There we go. Like, we got two of the best hitting catchers in baseball. In my opinion, the best power tandem. Love that Kirk's doing it, man.
And Moreno, yeah, and that's probably why he's focused so much on defense. He's like, if I have a spot on this team where I'm going to be getting some starts at catcher with a guy like Gabriel Moreno coming up, like, I'm going to have to really improve my defense so I can at least get two of the starting five pitchers, right? And I had a question for you guys. Now, I know baseball doesn't have as much obvious emotion coming from players. And the reason I ask is because you guys both talked about two guys who have. Berríos mutters under his breath. He slams his fist in his glove when he makes mistakes, stuff like that. He shows a lot of emotion. Kirk, at the start of the year, when he was hitting hard balls, but they were just right at people, he showed emotion. Do you like when players like the Marcus Stromans of the world show a lot of emotion? Does it differ between a pitcher and a infielder or anything based on
position
that?
Player?
Yeah.
I'll field this one to start, because first of all, I love that question, Isaac. Yeah, I love it. First of all, when pitchers, so Stroman was certainly an emotional guy. I think that Alek Manoah, I've seen the most positive emotion from him, and I'll go back on when Charlie Montoyo pulled him from the game. He didn't want to leave that game.
Right,
he wanted to pitch the complete game, man. So when you get pitchers wanting to compete, wanting to go out there, I mean, Vladdy's broken a bat this year, over his knee or off the ground or whatever it was. That's showing real emotions, right? Like, I would say that baseball is easier to pinpoint it. Hockey's such a fast game, man. Like, you'd really have to catch it. Baseball, if you make an error and you slam your fist into the glove, like, you got 25,000 people that just saw you do that. Or, those little mannerisms, man. The bad thing, if you're a pitcher, you give up a home run, you put your glove over your face, like, people know that you're cussing into your glove. Like, they know that you're ticked off, you're upset. And I think, you know what, it's great to show emotion. And our manager, Montoyo, showed, I would say, great emotion this year. Haven't loved him 100% of the time with his decisions he's made. But I'll say this, man, and that's Montoyo. His heart is into this Jays team. And I would say that, 99% of the time too, our players are right there with them, and we're putting up battles, man. It's real emotions. It's real fight that we got.
Yeah,
Do you like it too, Jesse?
I don't really disagree. I don't have a lot to say. It's just, you'd rather see the players that they're trying to compete hard, and they get frustrated at themselves. They get frustrated at their teammates. I don't think there's anything wrong with showing emotion either way. I want to move on forward to our next segment though. Here we got to talk. There was lots of positives. We got to talk about some negatives here. And Isaac, would you like to start with your first thumbs down of this series against the Twins?
I know it's a little premature, but I would just say there was a couple defensive mistakes. I didn't notice any big highlight reel defensive plays, but I did notice some mistakes, and I think that really hurt Kevin Gausman today. Yep. And I know you wanted to get into that, Jesse, because there was not one hard hit ball for the first two innings, really, and it was some luck, but some obviously defensive, and that will ruin you games come playoffs. And being a Leaf fan, playoffs is what matters. So hopefully that we can kind of get that a little bit better. I don't know what it was. You said closed dome or something like that. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think of that, but that was defense. I just didn't notice too many spectacular plays, which we have the guys in there that can do that. And there was just a few too many errors and mistakes.
Yeah, those are the ones that hurt the most. When you have guys on base, you get that routine out and then it's dropped and 2-run score. We'll touch on Gausman a little later there, but yeah, I'm not too worried. This happens sometimes in baseball. You'd rather it happen now than is get into the season deep in there. Riley, what you wanted to give a thumbs down there? Who are you giving yours to?
Well, it's not who we're giving it to, or maybe it's the person deciding, who's getting this thumbs down. And that's Jesse, Isaac, easy question. What's our team? We're the Toronto Blue Jays. And hey, we're Canada's team. Here's my gripe on it. We're wearing our reds today, and I'm not a big fan of the red jerseys. I'm an aesthetics guy. I like the team to look good. We have some of the best uniforms, our whites, our white panel hats, whatever it be. And here we are wearing our, what I call them Canada Day jerseys. When we wear them for Canada Day weekend, I feel like that's the only time we should be wearing them to represent Canada as a country. But right we're still representing the Toronto Blue Jays. Not a big fan of the Reds. And I feel like that there's a stat that backs this up, that we perform not that good when we wear our red jerseys.
Yeah, in years past, that was true.
I know it was like that in the Russell Martin days for sure. I remember watching a lot of those games that we lost. I say red is for Canada, man. We're the Toronto Blue Jays. We got a little bit of red, but that's our accent, one of our accent colors, man. It's not a huge thumbs down or anything like that. I know I'm being a fussy guy by saying it, but I think, Jesse, Isaac, we can agree that we got some of the best blue colored jerseys in the league. And, we don't really need to be wearing our red jerseys, 5, 6, 7 days into June. I think we can wait, 3 weeks and wait till Canada Day.
Right. So what happened here is that these are the Canada Day jerseys they were going to wear on Canada Day, but they showed up early, and apparently the players got to look at them, and the players just decided, hey, I want to wear them. They talked to the clubhouse guy, and they gave him the go ahead as they're officially a team alternate jersey. So I don't love it, but I mean, the players seem to have loved it, and they've listened to what the players wanted before. Like in that last game against the White Sox, Alek Manoah just decided, hey, I want to wear our white panel hats. So the team decided to wear that. And hey, I guess at the end of the day, it's what the players want to wear. I don't love it as a fan. I know a lot of fans don't, but hey, teach their own.
Teach their own.
Yeah. I want to move into my thumbs down. I wanted to get in on Kevin Gausman here, and he doesn't make an appearance on our thumbs down list too often because he has been so good. Now, his stuff is still so nasty. His splitter is the best single individual pitch at getting swings and misses outside of the zone. But I think Joe Siddall was on to something today when he was talking about a pitch tipping issue. And now I want to flash you back to last year when Kevin Gausman was still in the Giants. And for the first 3 months of the season, Kevin Gausman looked like the guy he was at the start of this season. That splitter was unhittable. His fastball was blowing by guys. And then he kind of struggled into the second half. And I was doing some research into this and on Kevin Gausman there. And teams just decided they are going to lay off the splitter because they know simply they can't hit it. Even though it looks good, if they know that pitch is coming, then no, just take it because it's going to drop low and out of the zone, and then they really ambush the fastball. And this is kind of what the Minnesota Twins were doing here today. I think they had picked up on something that they knew he was going to throw the splitter, and his chase rate on that was only, I think, 20-something% today, which is by far the lowest it's been in a game this season. And because of that, if you know he's not going to throw the splitter, you can really hammer his fastball. And we saw a lot of the hits that Kevin Gausman gave up today on that fastball. So that's what you want to see Kevin Gausman get better at here. If he's going to keep getting better and keep missing bats, he's got to really be able to disguise those things. So I don't know if it's a mechanical issue, a pitch tipping issue, or what, but something to look forward as Kevin Gausman goes forward here.
If Gausman wants to have quality starts and be effective on the hill, we all know that he needs his splitter to work and get swings and misses, and get off timing when he does throw that fastball. And when you have the foresight and you could see through when batters have that ability to, predict a pitch 50% of the time or even 30% of the time, it's hard for a guy like Kevin Gausman because he throws hard enough that he could really give up some hard contact. So, you know what? I mean, good for the Twins. Let's say this because, Minnesota coming in here, they have an interesting team. Gausman is one of the best starters in all of MLB. He's our ace at this point with Manoah. He's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And for him to get hit like that, some of them will say, yeah, that's how the ball bounces. But, it takes an extreme amount of luck to score 5 runs in 2 innings against one of baseball's best arms.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to the rest of this very quickly. We got about 6 minutes to go and a lot to get through. So let's go speed time here. The Blue Jays have traded left-handed pitcher Ryan Borucki to the Seattle Mariners for a first base / third base prospect, Tyler Keenan. He is 23 years old. He was a 4th-round pick in 2020 draft by the Mariners. He was a Seattle Mariners 32nd rated prospect coming in. And do you guys have any initial takeaways on Keenan here? Did you look into him at all? Or?
He's a big boy. I think he's like 6'4", something like that. Batting 250 in single A. Not too many home runs throughout his history for being that big of a boy, and especially for being a first baseman, third baseman. But I mean, Borucki wasn't doing anything with us, so I always like taking a chance on guys like that. There's Justin Smokes out there who end up coming around with it.
Good piece of business too. He always hit in his time in college, and their tools. Here's Fangraph's kind of skills on the 20/80 scale. They have his hit tool graded out at 55, his game power at 50, raw power 50, speed 30, and glove 40. So just seems like kind of an average guy. I don't think there's a ton to like here. He's got a really high ground ball rate and a low line drive rate, but you don't want to take too much stock into single A numbers. But the Jays were going to lose Ryan Borucki anyway, so a good piece of business by getting something back for him.
Yeah, it sucks. Like we said last time, it sucks to see Borucki go, but you know what? we'll take something in return instead of just casting him out on waivers, right?
Couple news and notes here. Cavan Biggio recorded his 200th hit of his career in this series. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. recorded his 400th hit of his career in this series. George Springer now has 7 leadoff home runs this season, which is the most in Blue Jays franchise history, as well as 50 on the career. So I think he's 2 or 3 behind Cavan's dad, Craig Biggio. So he'll be getting that before the end of the season. Tim Meza will be traveling to Buffalo to begin a rehab assignment. He should be back within the club within the next week or so. And Hyunjin Ryu has a forearm strain and an elbow inflammation, so he'll miss, quote, a couple of weeks, but there is some concern this could turn into a couple of months, and worst case scenario could shut him down for the season. We'll give you updates on that as we go. Ross Stripling will join the rotation in the meantime. Now, my question for you guys is, if Nate Pearson is officially coming back as a bullpen arm and a bullpen arm exclusively, if the Jays do need another starter at some point, who is that going to be?
Frankie Montes. We need to listen. We need another good power arm, man. And yeah, we lost a left-hander, but I think, like, technically, you know, we got Ryu, Kikuchi. I don't think the righty-lefty madness is going to shift too much because Montes is one of those guys, another good split finger and a good two-seamer, high velo guy. I would love to see him in our rotation if that injury is going to be long-term, because we do need to fill in another starter role. Yes, Stripling has been a guy that we have used and called upon, but can he carry that workload? I don't know. I'm skeptical of it, Jesse. Isaac, what do you think, man? What should the Blue Jays do if this is long-term, man?
I think our more pressing issue is outfielder. Just I've seen Zimmer and Tapia take too many plate appearances.
Us too.
And I personally think that, like, when you go to the playoffs, you typically go down to like 3 or 4 pitchers anyways.
Yep.
And there's going to be guys like Nate Pearson, like maybe he might just be a bullpen arm, but you never know. The guy still has potential to be a potential starting pitcher. You know, he gets healthy, he gets right, he steps in and can be a top 3 pitcher if all things go right. My hot take at the start of the year was that he's going to start a playoff game for the Blue Jays. So as crazy as that sounds, like, I think you look internally and maybe make like a little trade deadline move, but you wait a little bit. Outfielder is more pressing issue for me right now.
Absolutely. And if you look at the Bison's rotation here, they have Casey Lawrence, Bowden Francis, Nick Allgaier, Maximo Castillo, which is a great name, by the way. But he was just called up from AAA. And then Thomas Hatch, who we've seen in the big leagues before. He's pitched better after a slow start, but none of those guys really seem to move the tide much. Anthony Kay is still hurt, so he's not an option. And I think it's still too early to bring up Ricky Tiedemann, who just made his debut up into to high A ball there. So it's still a little time for him. Sounds like the Blue Jays are going to have to find someone else outside of the rotation unless they want to stretch out Trent Thornton to put him back in the rotation. But again, that's an issue we don't need to tackle right away while all 5 of these guys are still healthy. Let's hope it stays that way going forward.
Yeah,
would look good.
He sure would.
And to go off your point, outfielder Palacios would look real good for us too.
But oh well, we'll figure it out. Well, the Jays currently are moving into the top of the 9th inning in this game. Gary Sanchez just hit a home run, so it's now 8-3. I really don't think the Blue Jays are going to come back and to win this game. They have a Travis Bergen on the hill right now. So unless something crazy happens, or Jeremy Beasley on the hill, sorry, unless something crazy happens in the bottom of the 9th, we'll let you know. But it looks like the Jays are going to have a series loss here against the Minnesota Twins. And that'll do it for this series. We're going to move on to face the 17-34 Kansas City Royals next. And Isaac, I can't help but mention, you make your first ever episode on this show and you wear a Kansas City Royals jersey. What's with that?
Yeah, I was hiding it a little bit. Maybe people thought it was like an old school Jays jersey, but no, we got the KC Royals. We got Kane on the back. Now, I did want to say the reason I wore this is because I'm a big Leaf fan. I have a Leafs and Lads podcast, and I wore the Leafs jersey on the games that they lost. So I'm going to wear the Kansas City Royals jersey in the hopes that that same luck keeps shining and whatever jersey I wear, that team loses. So I'm wearing the KC jersey because we're going to go in and we're going to sweep them because we're on fire now. Had a little blip in the road, but Jays we're going to win the division. I still believe.
I'd really like it if you could wear your Yankees jersey now every day from here on out, so they never win a game ever again. That would be that'd make us most happy here.
Okay, perfect.
Probable pitchers for this series: Ross Stripling will start Game 1 against Daniel Lynch. Game 2 will be Alek Manoah against Brad Keller. Yusei Kikuchi will take the afternoon game on Wednesday against Brady Singer. And my thoughts are pretty simple: Jays just can't let off the gas. You know, Alek Manoah is going to do Alek Manoah type things. But Ross and Yusei Kikuchi could be a little hittable. So if the Jays are going to do well in this series, they just need to keep the bats going, keep pressing on the gas. We've looked good over these last 2 weeks. Let's keep it going so the Blue Jays can win against a team that they really should beat on paper.
Well, and you said they're starting pitchers, man, and yeah, Singer was a good prospect. I don't think he's going to be what a lot of people thought. And that Lynch guy is a very hittable guy. Like this is a Kansas City team that we should be able to hit pretty good with our bats. And now we've started to turn it up a bit. Yes, today we only got 3 runs, maybe some more in the bottom of the 9th, who knows? But this is a team that we should take care of. I feel like we might not score double digits, but like a game or maybe 2 where we get 7 or 8 runs would be really nice. And that's kind of what I predict for this. Maybe a Lourdes 3-run home run or a Teoscar 3-run home run, something like that. We need more of that. We need more middle innings, big home runs. That would be really nice to see this series. That's my focus on is, getting some big spots, a 3 or a 4 spot on the board in one swing would be awesome.
How about Matt Chapman getting another home run here? I think he's due for one. And I'd maybe throw a bet that he'll get one at some point this series here. That's going to do it for our episode here today, though. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Isaac, I'd like to personally thank you for joining us on the show today. Be sure not only to subscribe to us and leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and on YouTube, but subscribe to the Leafs and Lads show as well. We honestly wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for what they did, and they kind of set into trends here for us. So they deserve your follow and your subscribe as well. And who doesn't love people talking about the Leafs? There's always drama with that team, so they've got you covered over there. We'll be back midweek to talk the Royals series. Boys, anything else to add before we get out of here today?
Yeah, I want to just give one more little shout out to Bassi. When I was playing juvenile, another one of those good veteran guys, a great playmaking centerman, could skate well, he back checked. He was just a strong dude. I mean, he's wearing a baggy baseball jersey now, but the guy is absolutely jacked. I mean, a Lady Bing type guy. He's a sportsman-like player, but I wouldn't want to tick him off because he is one strong dude.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I do want to just say that Jesse never seems to give predictions on this show. Jesse always asks Riley about his predictions on this show. So I want to know, Jesse, what are you predicting for this next series against the Royals?
Smart thing is probably 2 out of 3. I did predict that I think Matt Chapman's going to go deep in this series.
Smart thing. No. What is in your heart? I don't care about the smart thing, man. Come on, I'm a Leafs fan here. What's the thing that's in your heart?
In my heart says the Blue Jays are the best ever, and all these losses we had this year are bullshit. The Blue Jays should still be undefeated this year. I think the Jays are going to win every game 15-0 because that's how it should be.
And fuck the Yankee Stadium, am I right?
Oh, amen. We took some slack for that one. They did not. We're not a fan for that. But hey, Kauffman Stadium, nice stadium, good waterfalls in the center. So, maybe we'll let Kansas City have a run or 2, I guess.
Okay, I like that.
But yeah, we'll see that. That's it for the series, guys. We'll be back next week. Make sure you like and subscribe again. And thanks, everyone. Let's go Blue Jays.
Thanks, guys. And especially thanks, Bassi.